Hello, this is Arthur Show, the LGBTQ channel that discusses LGBTQ issues with a humanistic approach and an LGBTQ perspective. And today, this is the LGBTQ website of the week, the Gaily Grind. And we want to go through it. As you can see, this is the story today. Former Disney star Garrett Clayton comes out as gay, reveals he's in a long term relationship. Congratulations, Garrett Clayton. Very handsome, nice eyes, and deep eyebrows and hair. And of course, looking ready to enjoy himself. And this is a very good discussion. Number one, the fact that gays are everywhere. They're in the acting industry, in the music industry, in the science industry, in the technological industry, in every industry in the world. There are gays. But you've got to understand something about gays and the LGBTQ people, that they are a very small, they're not a very big demographic. They are significant, sizable demographic. What that means is that they will be gay people all the time, but they will not necessarily surpass the straight people in those sectors. So it's just like if you find, like in the Catholic Church right now, they're having a scandal that is involving children and priests. And what you could say is that they are gay priests, but they are not the majority. The majority would be heterosexual or bisexual, because in fact bisexuals should be more than gays, because gays are homosexual and they are not as many as bisexuals, and they are bisexuals are not as many as heterosexuals. So in every sector, even in where you work or where you live or in a country or in a continent, that is how it will always be. Reason being, homosexuality is natural and it's a genetic disposition. And when it's a genetic disposition, there are people who have the genes. They have the gay gene. And secondly, there are also people who they because sometimes we do not know the genetic makeup of everybody. So that's the reason why we do not really depend on genetic disposition. We depend on the sexual activity of the person. If the person has engaged in sex with the opposite sex and has never engaged with the same sex, that person is heterosexual, that person is straight. If the person who has had sex with both the opposite and the same sex, that is a bisexual. But if a person has had sex with the same sex, that person is a homosexual. And so the sign is that majority are straight, then you have a sizable majority that's bisexual, and then you have a very small minority that is homosexual. And so Clayton is coming out as gay. That means he's a homosexual. And he's in a long term relationship, which is very nice. Of course, most gays don't like being in long term relationships. Reason being, a gay man, in my view, in my understanding, tend to look at sex. Sex is a pleasurable moment, and relationships. Most relationships gays have are very sexual. They are not necessarily what you call familial relationships or long-term relationships, because sexual relationships, they tend to be very short-term, because sex is due to sexual attraction. You're attracted to somebody's body. It's erotic. Sex is erotic love, and erotic love sometimes doesn't last for long. Reason being, sometimes in some instances it can last for long. In case you marry the person you want, you get a guy and you love his muscles and everything. You love, of course, the ass is also a muscle, so you love all those muscles, and yeah, you can say I can stay with this one for life. And that's erotic love that can last for a long time. But most people don't get the dream erotica. And so what happens is they keep on changing their boyfriends and changing. And if it's for lesbians, they change their girlfriends and like that, because sexual relationships are based on eroticism, and eroticism is very diverse. There are very many different sexiness that make you happy. One day you can see a very slim person and they're very sexy to you, and you'd want to have sex with them. And then next day you see a very plump person and you want to have sex with them. So that's how erotica is. It's insatiable. But a long-term relationship where it's like you want to be a friend with somebody, those ones are long-term. And you stay with the person, and this is what Clayton is going to do. So we're very happy for him. Let him go on. And it's proof. That's why gay marriage is allowed. I allow gay marriage for men who want to be to stay with a man for life. Yes, there are men who want to stay with men for life. So they should be allowed to do so. The same happens to women. There are some women who want to stay with women for life. They should be allowed to do so. And that's why gay marriage is there. It is for those who want to marry. Please understand, marriage is not for everybody. Be it gay or straight, marriage is not for everybody. Marriage is for those who are willing to commit to somebody. And again, it depends what type of marriage. There's monogamous marriage and there's polygamous. So the problem we have in the Western system, it is strict on monogamous marriage. It doesn't encourage polygamous marriage. But in other areas like Africa and the Arab world, they have polygamous marriage and as well as monogamous. So there's diversity of marriage, which should be allowed. I also support that, because there are some people who want to have very many partners and they are able to take care of them and they are able to cooperate with each other. So why stop them from doing that? So that's why polyamory is not wrong, and polygamy is not wrong, and polyandry is not wrong, and any poly is not wrong. And monogamy is also not wrong. It's very fine. Okay, enough of that. Let's go to the news, because this Gaily Grind is a website for news. And why the Christian right opposes pornography but still supports Trump. Wow, that's a very interesting article to read. Yes, the Christian right do not like pornography, but they support Trump, who has been accused of being with porn stars. Isn't it ironic that you hate pornography, but you are supporting a porn star? Because basically Trump has been accused of being with porn stars, so that also makes him a porn star. Yes, he's been acting in porn, because when you have a sexual relationship with a porn star, it's almost as if you're doing pornography together. Because who knows, the porn star can even, do you know, God forbid, they could have recorded sessions they had with Trump. And I think there was a time they used to circulate photos, but I don't think they were genuine. They were circulating photos of Trump being naked in a room with some ladies, and yeah, you see, that's what happens. That's why whenever you go out with a porn star, please be careful. These days you have cameras everywhere. You can even have a pen for a camera, and the porn star can put the pen in the room and records everything and what you did. And then now when they come and blackmail you, they want money from you, and you don't give it to them, they now release the photos and show that this is you. And what will you do? So the Christian right are not right to oppose pornography. Why? Opposing pornography is anti-sexual. It is anti-sexual. Why? Pornography is the art of sexual indulgence or sexual activity. And what you're supposed to do is to find the advantages and disadvantages of pornography. What are the advantages? And to me, the advantages are more than the disadvantages. Number one, the advantage of pornography is it makes you It gives you tips on how to be a better sex player and partner. It soothes the mind because with pornography you can even ejaculate. With pornography you can even masturbate, and you'll be very, very happy. Masturbation is good for both men and women. And for men, it's very important for them to ejaculate masturbation because they have a prostate gland. And if the prostate gland is full of testosterone and sperms, guess what? That man is going to have prostate cancer. Why is it so? Because he's not involved in sexual release. The reason why older men have prostate cancer, they become sexually inactive, and so the prostate gland enlarges because too much sex material in the body, and he's having too little sex. So most masturbation helps in releasing the content, the testosteronic content, and the sperms when you ejaculate, because by doing that, your prostate gland remains at the normal size even if you're an old man. Therefore, you won't have prostate cancer. And masturbation is one of them. And masturbation is very nice with pornography. It's with, you watch gay porn and wow, you look at how the guys are doing it and it gets you on and you ejaculate. But women don't have a prostate gland. So their masturbation is not and will never be like a man's masturbation, because they just remove lubricants in the vagina. That's what makes them. That's how a woman is masturbating. But she will not masturbate like a man because she has no prostate gland. She has no prostate gland. A prostate gland is so important. Even that's why gay men engage in anal sex, because the penis massages the prostate gland. And I even wanted to do a research. Is it that when you have a bigger prostate gland, it is easy for you to enjoy gay sex than when it's small? I want to do that research. And when you have a big prostate gland, that's a telltale sign you're going to get prostate cancer. So what you need to do is not only have gay sex or anal sex, you will also need to masturbate so that you empty your glands of too much testosterone material. So basically, those are the advantages of pornography. They help in sexual satisfaction. Of course, there are disadvantages, and some people, but I don't want to go to disadvantages. There are some biased views. Like, one view is that they think it wires the brain differently and you become someone who just wants sex all the time. Well, of course, for everything we do in the world, there's an addiction. There's an alcoholic of every kind. Even can be a sexaholic, you can be a workaholic, you can be all of those things. So, and what I say is, there is no degree of addiction. What matters is, an addiction is bad if it affects your functioning in the office. Like, let's say you have a job. Can you imagine if the president was a porn addict? He cannot even do the speed and what you call it. Then you look at his habits. Maybe there's a habit he's doing that is not making him efficient. So, but if he watches one porn video, two, and in his life are going well, it's okay. He's not an addict. He's not being affected. And that's why I always tell people, do not demonize addicts. They're just people who have been overcome by their desire, and they just need a bit of rehab and a bit. Sometimes they even need to be kept busy so that they don't indulge. Yeah. So the Christian right just needs science. Oh my, they are really off. Now, let's go on. Fox News memorizes Aretha Franklin with photo of Patti LaBelle. Very funny. Oh my goodness, so sad. Oh, rest in power and rest in peace. Roam in power, Aretha Franklin, after you have left this earth. Fox News made that mistake with a photo because Patti LaBelle, most likely Patti LaBelle is similar to Aretha Franklin. Let us hope they forgave. They gave apology. I hope Fox News did that. So we have seen that other article, and then now we go to the next article. Vermont Democrat becomes first transgender person to be a major party nominee for governor in U.S. So the U.S. midterm elections are on, and many LGBTQ people are running for many posts in the mostly the Democratic Party, because we know the Republican Party is not a friend of the LGBTQ persons. So this transgender person is going to be a nominee for governor. Maybe they will win. Why? Because Vermont is very democratic. And of course, there are some states which are friendly to the Democrats and some are not friendly to the Democrats. So, in this case, most likely, this transgender will become a governor. So, all the best to this transgender. Look, very happy, hardworking. You know, people are just accusing LGBTQ persons of being, there's a generalization that LGBTQ persons they just see all bad, they're all wicked. No, how many straight people are wicked and as bad? Wickedness, badness, or evil or goodness, all of those do not depend on your orientation. They will never depend on your sexual orientation or your gender. Because if a gay person can commit a crime and a straight person can commit a crime, then it means crime knows no orientation. It doesn't know. So even hard work doesn't know orientation. There are hard-working LGBTQ persons and there are hard-working straight persons. There are lazy LGBTQ persons and they are lazy straight persons. So some of these generalizations, they just come about because people are divided to hate one another. Good. Now let's go on. Caitlyn Jenner. Trump has been extraordinarily disappointing. I don't know what happened. Oh my goodness. Caitlyn, remember when she supported Trump? She was so happy. But guess what, Caitlyn? You said it. You said it. You saw the danger. You saw who Trump was. Trump was not for the LGBTQ persons. He kept on attacking LGBTQ rights. Even though you're seeing him holding this flag, he had to do it. He was looking for votes. And he did it. Look at where he did it. Did he do it in an open, in a rally? No, he did it inside. He knew where to get his LGBTQ folk. Of course, what I'm trying to say is, you've got to understand, you cannot force LGBTQ persons to be in any party. That's a fact. Why? Because humans have their preferences. But in my estimation and my view, an LGBTQ person would rather be in a party that stands for LGBTQ rights. And in America's case, it's the Democrats. The Democratic Party. They stand for LGBTQ rights. And they have shown it by having congressmen who are LGBTQ. And that's why we are happy. We'd rather support Democrats. Look at the story we've just left. The Vermont candidate for governor. Which party is it? Is it Republican? No, it is Democrat. Why? There is more tolerance to LGBTQ persons in that party than in the Republican Party. So it's common sense. But I want to give Caitlyn Jenner benefit of doubt because I know why she supports Trump. She is not necessarily, there's some level of life that there are very many factors that influence decision making. And I think sexuality is not one of the things that influence Caitlyn's decision to belong to which party she will belong to. If sexuality was the prime decision and the prime factor of why she is in a party, then she wouldn't have supported Trump. Seeing Caitlyn Jenner had there is a prime factor, and it was not sexuality. The I do not know what the prime factor was, but that prime factor is the one that made Caitlyn Jenner stay with Trump and report the Republicans. Now, do you know when Caitlyn started complaining? When Trump started attacking transgenders. Trump started attacking Caitlyn. So the I agree with Caitlyn. Trump is wrong. Trump should have tried to create an atmosphere whereby if he wants to have LGBTQ persons in the Republican Party, he would push them inside and explain it to the evangelicals. But guess what? The evangelicals are the biggest homophobes and the transphobes in the United States of America. And they are the key voting bloc in Trump's camp. So guess what? Caitlyn Jenner was just throwing herself into the lion's den of homophobes and transphobes in the name of, I think Trump can make a good leader because of ABCD, but not because of sexuality. And for me, what matters is ABCD and not sexuality. And so now Caitlyn Jenner has found out that because for homophobes, they also have a prime factor as to why they picked Trump. Do you know why? One of them is they didn't like Obama's policies on LGBTQ rights. And others could be, there are very many reasons. So everybody has their reasons as to why they support a candidate. And so what I'm trying to say is LGBTQ persons, they vary. Some of them don't take sexuality that seriously. But as an LGBTQ person myself, I take sexuality very seriously because I know somebody who understands LGBTQ issues understands a lot of things. That is the thing. He understands a lot of things, and then is a person who is more tolerant and he's more inclusive. You can only talk about inclusivity with a person who understands sexual minorities and the disabled persons. I was reading about Nazi history and I was so shocked to find that they not only made laws against Jews and against homosexuals, they even made laws against disabled people. These were people who they only valued straight, non-Jewish, healthy, quote-unquote, people. So if you are not fitting the bill of being straight, healthy, non-Jewish, then you are a criminal. That was what was so wrong with Nazi Germany. And we're going to talk about this. As you know, the UN's birthday is coming up in September, and we're going to have a long week looking back at how UN has done and its importance and why we should support it and why UN should always amend. It should bring the culture of amendment to some of their policies. I mean, does UN even have a constitution? We need a constitution for the whole world that binds the United Nations of the world. There is no constitution. There is just a charter. You know, the power of a constitution is any law that goes against that constitution is null and void. So, if you have a constitution that recognizes people of whatever sexual orientation and whatever race, that there is no discrimination or violation of human rights of anybody irrespective of their sexual orientation or race or class, then guess what? Even if you have a country that has homophobic laws, that country's laws are null and void. And you can sue that government as a gay person. You can sue that government as a black person if you're being oppressed for your race. You can sue that government for if you are a poor person and it is because your poverty is what was what they use to criminalize you, you can sue that government on the basis of the UN Constitution, not the Charter. Of course, the International Criminal Court is there, but it's based on the Rome Statute, and that is just like a penal code. It's not a constitution. Constitution means to declare. It's the supreme law of the land, and it defines who is the citizen of the world and who is and who are these. So you need we need a world constitution. I'm getting a eureka moment now. So we need a constitution for the world, so that any country that has laws that go against that constitution by the UN, they will be null and void. And guess what? That constitution should go through a vote in the UN General Assembly, because then you will know which country is legally is homophobic, and you will know which country wants to violate human rights of people, and you will know which country. And that is how you will now have global sovereignty rather than national sovereignty. Because the problem with UN is that it is national sovereignty. There is a clash of sovereignties. Russia can do what it wants because it's sovereign. Brazil can do what it wants because it's sovereign. Ecuador can do what it wants because it is sovereign. Congo can do what it wants because it is sovereign. And it's this sovereignty that caused problems. So UN needs to review that. Okay, we've talked enough about that. We're going to talk about it more as we celebrate the birthday. Now, Sacha Baron Cohen gets Sheriff Joe Arpaio to say he'd accept a blow job from Trump. Oh my God, this is just jokes and jokes from the comedy scenes in the LGBTQ entertainment. And then GOP lawmaker used okay, that's old news, so Gaily Grind has to check that. Gay couple claims airline forced them to give up seats so straight couple could travel together. Yeah, that's sad. That's discrimination. It should be reported, and the airline should be punished. And then more news here on Trump admin unveils new religious liberty task force to legalize discrimination against people. Yeah, this is a problem we're having with Trump, and the problem is he is not understanding what religious liberty is. You see, the problem I'm having with Trump is that religious liberty should not mean freedom to hate. You see, that's the problem LGBTQ community is having with the Trump admin, is that when you have a religious liberty task force, you're actually saying you want you are instituting homophobia and transphobia through religion. Now, what is religious liberty? Religious liberty to me is freedom of worship. It's not freedom to discriminate. It is freedom to worship. What is freedom to worship? It is freedom to be involved in any church, any religious setting, any setup. And what happens in a church? Praying, listening to a sermon, singing, and all of these things. That is what freedom of worship is. Now, another thing, it's not freedom of preaching, it's freedom to worship. And of course, freedom of preaching is freedom of speech. Yes, that is where preaching is covered. Preaching is covered in freedom of speech. But freedom to worship, that is what you should be calling religious liberty. So what does that mean? Worship is a very personal thing. So you cannot attack a gay person and tell them that we cannot serve you because we are a Christian center because you're gay. You see, that's wrong. and it's religiously, it's like racial liberty, the right to hate. You know, you're being given a right to hate somebody, and no, you're not supposed to do that. Even though we can dislike people, it's a fact. We don't like everybody. Some people don't like everybody, and but you don't have to enforce it that I have a right to hate you, because hate is not what should be encouraged by any government. Everything, people should be allowed to be with whomever they want to be with. That is love. But if you deny someone being with somebody, that is not love. And so, to legalize this task force, my goodness, they're going to be, I smell a court case coming. There's a big court case coming from this. And what's going to happen is, when the task force comes in and then some religious center decides to do a homophobic attack or a transphobic attack, and the LGBTQ community takes that religious entity to court. Now we want to see what the Supreme Court is going to say when the government has set up a religious task force. My God, it's going to be hot. Okay, let's go on. We're almost done. Air Force football player Bradley Kim comes out as gay to his teammate, receives total acceptance. Congratulations, Bradley Kim, and congratulations to your team. Beautiful. Oh, it is an Air Force football team. Wow, that's beautiful. Why is this very important? You know, I've been thinking to myself, if you want to know whether you're living in a homophobic place, they will tell you whether they like you or not. This guy has got total acceptance. Do you know what that will do to his morale? He will be so happy. He will do his game well. He will even serve in the Air Force very well. Why? He has got total acceptance. And this is what we want to see in the whole world. Betsy DeVos' 40 million yacht set adrift by vandals, causing $10,000 in damages. Wow, so sorry. And a man arrested after naked yoga session at Planet Fitness. I thought it was a judgment-free zone. Yes, it's sad. Why did they have to arrest you? It's supposed to be a judgment-free zone. I mean, yoga also involves nakedness. Anyway, it's also, the Western system also has elements of anti-sexuality and anti-pornography, which is anti-sexuality. And I mean, yoga, people need to understand yoga. Yoga is very diverse. There is tantric yoga, that is sexual yoga, meaning you'll be naked. Yes, you will be naked. So I don't know what this proclivity of not looking at the nakedness of people. People are so weird. I know let me tell you one thing. The world is going through, it's a clash of civilizations that Samuel Huntington predicted was going to happen. And it's going to be a very long clash. Do you remember the 100 Years' War? The 100 Years' War that happened in England? Yes, the War of Roses? Yes, I am seeing the clash of civilizations can even be a 1,000-year war, until civilizations change. So guess what? If you're in a war for the LGBTQ rights, my friend, you ain't seen nothing yet. You've got to hold on and keep on fighting. Don't think the war is going to end tomorrow, because it's not. From the way things are. Because why? You're fighting entities, or you're dealing with entities. Let's talk about dealing, because we are now more Mandela-like. You're dealing with entities that have existed for thousands of years. They have been programming people for thousands of years. And you're dealing with such entities, and you have just found the science that proves that homosexuality and LGBTQ identity is natural. It is natural. Because sex is natural. Sexual attraction is natural. Both homosexual, heterosexual, and bisexual, and pansexual. It is natural. Natural processes. So, But now you have to deal with entities that were not teaching that. They believed that it is abnormal. They believed it is demonic. And so you have to deal with these things and destroy those strongholds. That's what they use in their language, in the spiritual warfare of the church. They call them strongholds, buildings. And sometimes you need a very big nuke, you know. Let me tell you something. Let me get my preaching on. If there was an LGBTQ person who was a pastor, and let's say, like, for example, a prophet or a pastor, and he does miracles, and he's gay, and every time he does miracles, they happen. Do you know how many people will stand with that man or woman? Even the whole planet. Why? Because the person is giving them something. And then when he says, I'm gay, but guess what? God knows my number. And you've seen the miracles, they will always happen. My friend, people will not be homophobic. They will say, yes, gay people are also people of God. You see, gay people are also our people. And that's the nuke. That's the nuclear weapon that we're waiting to come, that will nuke all these homophobic castles and palaces that exist in the world and in the minds of people, because people have very big castles. So when you bring science to them, which is very complicated, they don't understand it. They don't understand it. So it becomes very hard to tell a homophobe or a straight person what homosexuality is and that it's natural. I mean, you can even bring porn to them and they still don't understand. Oh my God, it's so hard. But we've got to keep on pushing. And very soon, I see a world that will be very pro-sexual. I'm not even in the year 2000s. I'm in the year 3000s, and I'm going higher. And I see a world that will even revolutionize sex differently. We'll live in different places. We'll live in the skies. You know, skyscrapers will be really skyscrapers. We'll be driving in the skies. Yes, that's what we have to be planning. We have to be so visionary that we can see even 10,000 years ahead. Okay, enough of nakedness. Trump erupted with rage when Melania's Air Force One TV was tuned to fake news CNN. Oh my God, Trump really hates CNN. And you can see Ivanka Trump's namesake fashion brand is shutting down. Okay, that's still some old news, we gotta know. Delaware becomes the 15th state to ban gay conversion therapy. Congratulations, Delaware. Yes, there is no gay conversion. It's gay distraction. Yes, I call gay conversion therapy gay distraction. Why? It destroys a gay person. And they don't kill you physically, they kill you psychologically. Because they think that when you are dumbed down psychologically, then you will become straight. What they don't know, this is a person born gay. So you kill them. You kill them because they are no longer themselves and they are acting out something else. That's why I always tell people there is no ex-gay. Anybody who is an ex-gay is bisexual. There is nothing like ex-gay because the person had sex. If you've had sex with the person of the same sex, you are gay. And if you've had sex with the opposite sex, you are straight. If you had sex with both the opposite and the same sex, you are bisexual. It's simple. And sex is sex. We don't want to go deep. Sex is sex. Full stop. And people know we don't like to talk about sex in some cultures because it's a private matter, but that's a fact. And so you cannot convert. The whole problem, even that's why bisexuals also are in trouble, because people want to destroy the gay culture because they don't know the science. So go and read the science. So thank you, Delaware. That's a very brilliant state. We want all the states of America to ban gay conversion therapy. Wow, load more stories. So you can be visiting this website and other websites. Gaily Grind, I like it so much. It has very nice photos, and you can follow them. Follow Gaily Grind on Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Tumblr, YouTube, Facebook, and you will enjoy. So, World, of course, this is all news. World Health Organization classifying being transgender as a mental illness. It is no longer a mental illness. Congratulations, World Health Organization, for doing that. UK to ban gay conversion therapy in effort to make the nation more inclusive. Yes, they need to tell people that being gay is natural. It's just a natural disposition. The lions that National Geographic found having fun in the wild. My goodness, it was the nail on the coffin of the homophobe. It was a nail, the final nail. Why? The male lion was on top of the other male lion, and they were enjoying themselves. That's natural. I mean, what else do you need? My God. Are you that blind, ye homophobe? And the lions were in Africa. It's just annoying. Yeah, Jimmy Carter, by the way, he's not feeling well right now. We remember him, and he said Jesus would approve gay marriage. Yes, he would. That is very true, because gay marriage is gay love, and love is not hate. Okay, this is all old news. I don't know why Gaily Grind is doing that, but Episcopal Church passes resolution to allow same-sex couples to marry in their home churches. There you are. Slowly by slowly, the church is accepting. And there's very more stories about Trump and all of these things. Good. Please visit the website and you get informed and on track.